Micro Machine Man here, aircraft carrier there. You can't have that, but you can have this. The new Micro Machine aircraft carrier playset.
After an 11-year absence, the Micro Machines series is back in 2017. Micro Machines World Series will be the 6th main title in the franchise to come to home consoles, with Codemasters themselves taking care of the PC version, and Just Add Water diluting the game with their special magic for consoles. In this video, we'll be having a look back at the series to explain just why we love it so much, as well as looking forward to the new game with some recently released screenshots and game footage to whet your appetite. I'm Dominoid, and I'll be your host for today, but first up we asked staff writer and fellow YouTube presenter TGK to tell us about his love for the diminutive driving game, and he told us this. Somewhere or another, I always knew about Micro Machines even before I owned a copy. It was a staple of multiplayer racing alongside the likes of Mario Kart. My first introduction to the game was with Micro Machines 2 on the Sega Mega Drive or Genesis. Revolutionary for the time, the game's cartridge, interestingly enough, had 2 controller ports atop the game itself, turning your 2-player Mega Drive into a 4-player with ease. Despite picking the game up way after its launch, it came bundled with paper invites for your friends to host your own Micro Machines party, as well as a fleshed out certificate for the winners. I never used these funky editions, but I did play that game a bunch. It was really good fun, and despite it not being a relevant game at the time, you could see how it gained so many accolades for how good it was. From there, the PSP was my next version. I remember it being quite a basic game with the same fun Micro Machines action on the go. Again, toying with revolutionary gaming mechanics, you could play 2 players on the same console simultaneously. Facing your opponent with the screen portrait between the 2 of you, one side would use the directional buttons to control the car, and the other would use the X, circle, triangle and square buttons, with the goal of knocking your opponent off the screen or leaving them lagging behind. For those that only had the one console or game that wanted to share with their friends, it was a fantastic way of playing multiplayer. I really hope that the latest version takes inspiration from times past with reinventing the wheel and unique styles of play. Codemasters are known for their fantastic racing games such as Grid and Dirt. I couldn't pick a better development studio to bring the series to the new generation. And TGK isn't the only one with fond memories about the game. My brother and I had the first Micro Machines back on the Mega Drive, and it was probably one of the most played games that we had on the system. It was one of the best local multiplayer games, and that still stands up now. In fact, we had a retro gaming night for a friend's stag do a couple of years ago, and this was one of the first games that we picked up. Yeah, sure, it was cumbersome having 8 guys playing on 4 controllers, but it was awesome fun, and that is what gaming should be about for me. I always used to wonder why you couldn't go split screen and race each other across the full length of a track like in other racing games, but looking back now, actually that point system was a work of genius. No one ever got lapped, so it was impossible for any one player to shoot off and get an unassailable lead, which meant there was always something to play for right up until the end of a race. So I'm hoping we'll see that continue. Certainly in all the screenshots that we've seen, all of the cars are on screen at any one time, so that indicates that we probably will see a return to that. What we'll also be seeing is a brand new mode in the form of battle arenas. Now, there was something a bit like this back with Micro Machines Military in the 90s, but this is a real big expansion on that. You can see from the screenshots here that we're talking very large arenas, and I love the ideas of these. Some of the most fun in Micro Machines wasn't necessarily the racing, but just destroying your friends' vehicles. So the battle arenas look like they'll distill that. There's some absolutely crazy setups. So there's one with a black hole right in the middle of a science-themed track. There's some massively over-the-top weapons. We've seen flamethrowers, laser-guided things, and I know that there's Nerf guns in there as well. So I'm really pleased to see Hasbro are licensing some of their other franchises to go with the Micro Machines. Battling inside a Hungry Hippos board while shooting your friends with Nerf guns, that looks like it's going to be awesome fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping that we'll see the return of some of the sillier weapons in the series. The giant hammer, for example, was brilliant, especially in Micro Machines V3, where it would actually have an effect on the physics of the car. So you'd become front heavy, and a good opponent could actually use that to their advantage by ramming you off of the table. It's little touches like that for me that always made the Micro Machines in a different class to other racers. I'm also hoping that we'll see some water stages. I used to really enjoy those. The bathtub track in the first game was one of my favourite Micro Machines stages. Second, in fact, only to the IndyCar-style toilet seat track in the second game. That track was the dream stage for any players that like to shove their way to victory, and that is how you're supposed to play Micro Machines. So maybe we can see that again? I can hope. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed our look back and our look forwards to Micro Machines. We should be seeing the launch of Micro Machines World Series in June of this year, so look out for more news about that on GameGrin. Don't forget to show us your thumbs, either up or down, to indicate pleasure or displeasure. We hope it's pleasure though. And remember to subscribe if you want to be the first to see new content from GameGrin as it arrives. You can follow us on Twitter at GameGrin, you can find us by searching GameGrin on Facebook, and you can find us on Instagram as GameGrin Site. And of course, all of the news, reviews, previews and opinions that you could possibly want are all available at www.gamegrin.com. Thank you for joining us today, and until next time, game on.